Good evening. Am I audible?
Okay, Lynn, you're audible. Strength 5.
Okay, okay.
Can you read me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. You'll be covering the intro first?
Okay, I don't mind like if you start directly also. Sorry.
No, you should take the
Okay.
lead. And thereafter, I'll see
Okay.
if there are not many questions. I would maybe on my own, I'll cover some few slides.
Yes.
Because I doubt people will be having too many questions unless they know the topic. This is a
Yes.
slightly new topic. So
Yes.
not many people have got in depth, or maybe not many have heard about it.
Yes. I'll just share the link once more everywhere. Yeah, good evening. Hi, Tina. Her audio is still connecting. Give me a minute, 1 second.
Absolutely. Guys, can you read me? This is Wing Commander R.K. Yadav.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll start then. So, yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for making it here. So, I'm Lynn D'Souza, the National President of the Aviation Council at the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And we have with us Wing Commander R.K. Yadav. He's a he for she supporter champion on our council. So, we planned this AMA session basically based on eVTOLs. So you might have heard of advanced air mobility as well. So if you have any questions, you can either ask him straight off or you can post it in the chat and he will answer you. So we can get started. All right. If
Yeah, sure.
he has to say something, yeah.
As you all know, this is a pretty recent topic, and lots of work is going on in field of urban air mobility, or as Lynn said, it is changing over to advanced air mobility now. So in case you guys want me to cover a little of background so that everybody is on the same page, I can start with that. Otherwise, in case you got direct questions, you can ask that also. Whichever way it suits you, you can leave your questions in the chat box. I think I'll start with the small presentation kind of a thing. So we'll make it interactive. It will not be one-way communication. Wherever you feel you need me to explain more, you can stop me and put your questions. Will that be okay? I need some reactions from the audience in case you can read me. Am I audible to you?
Everyone is on mute, so you can please unmute and answer.
Or simply you can write in the chat box also, if that suits you. Okay. Anshuka is okay with the presentation. Aviation Catalyst. Can I know your name? Aviation Catalyst. You logged in as Aviation Catalyst. You can unmute and speak. Okay, Lynn,
Good
can
evening.
you? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Good evening. This is Mujawar, ex-Navy from aviation background, and presently I'm a professor teaching aviation subjects for Bangalore University and Jain University at Bangalore.
That's nice, sir. Welcome to the AMA session.
So, sure.
Great to have a fellow Fauji on board.
Thank you, sir. We also feel proud sharing our thoughts and experience on this platform. Really a good platform. Let us have a good learning process today.
Absolutely. I'll need some support from you guys so that I can basically decide which way to go. It can be a monologue, but I don't know whether anybody will gain anything from that, or it can be interactive. It can be question answer session also, or I'll do one thing. I'll show one slide which will have various topics on it. So whichever topic you guys want me to cover, because individually those topics may take 10-15 minutes, but if I get to cover all of them, it might take more than close to 2 hours. Lynn, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes, sure. You should be able to share. You can try. If it doesn't come
As
through, you
of
can
now,
tell me.
it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, yeah.
Just a little of bit of background. I am pursuing my doctorate in this particular subject, aviation management. So the research topic is urban air mobility. So that's how I've selected this topic to basically share my whatever I could learn in last 4-5 years in the process of my research. So maybe this might be of help to all the listeners too.
All right. You can try again once more because I've changed the settings.
Yeah.
It should work now.
Yeah, now I can share.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, Okay, just to give a brief background, I've made this as flying cars because the common name which people refer to have been referring to since the time aviation was, aviation came into practice, is flying cars. People have been fascinated with this term flying cars. So that's why I've made the name same of the slide of the presentation. However, as we go further, I'll narrow down to eVTOLs. As of now, you must be hearing various news items or reading in aviation magazines about the prototypes that are floating around. Few of them I have just shortlisted. First one is Airbus Vahana, second one is EHang, third one is Volocopter, fourth one is Joby Aviation. So these are the topics which I can cover. One is I can cover the history of the flying cars, otherwise possible uses of electrical vertical takeoff landing vehicles, advantages of eVTOLs, hurdles to technology, technical features required in ideal machine. This was designed for armed forces, but that works for civil as well, because ideal flying machine will remain same for both. Then eVTOL projects being undertaken by other defense forces across the world, current developments and market leaders, and last part may not be relevant to all of you, but then in case, then it is a open source this thing, so I can share with you also. There's nothing confidential in this. So Lynn, if you can tell me which particular topic, or should I go in that sequence? That sequence will take 1 hour to 2 hours depending on the questions.
I think we'll go with the sequence because many people may not have an idea about the whole thing right now. We don't even have this yet over here, right? So they would be blank about
right.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, if you got any questions, you can stop me, you can pipe up, and you can ask questions. Okay, as I covered, the term flying cars is more of a marketing term. If you see, we have had fixed wing aeroplanes, we've got helicopters, but due to science fiction, we've been fascinated by this term. So I'm using this term to draw attention. Later on, as we go deeper, we'll come down to eVTOLs. Flying cars, as were perceived, were aircraft, but with an application seen as replacing cars, basically the ones which could fly in air and also be drivable on the roads. As you must have seen since your childhood, it has been integral part of the comic books and sci-fi stories, and it has always fascinated everybody from Bollywood to Hollywood to scientists all over. This could not gather momentum because of its poor economic viability. Aviation, as we all know, is a costly business. And if we come down to designs which are not aerodynamic, like the flying cars, then definitely the economic viability part takes a hit. And in the longer run, that is the most critical part for any invention to survive or to flourish. In the meantime, helicopters have taken over the space of urban air mobility or flying cars, and they've been operating as flying taxis in various parts of the country. In recent times, however, due to battery storage capacity, which is going up due to research in this field by Tesla and other stakeholders, this has given hope to the engineers that maybe electric aircraft and later on eVTOLs would be possible. Now, if we talk about flying cars as such in the Indian mythology, you must have heard about a vehicle called Pushpak Vimana, which was used by Ravana. Now, this had some additional features which we are still fighting to, come over to see how we can inculcate those features. This Viman could be of any size. This could fly at any speeds. So those features were there, although it is a myth, but then that also gives imagination to the researchers, and maybe few of them later on can be a reality too. There's a mention of gliding horse cart in 18th century too. The basic concept was that the horse has got various stages of running. It trots, it gallops also. So in galloping phase, basically all its feet, all its 4 feet are in air. So the researchers that time thought that if the horse can glide, then maybe a cart attached to that can also glide. Although this didn't succeed. In US Patent Trademark Office, there are around 80 patents. I want tried to study few of them. They were outright stupid, but then obviously that's why they didn't fly. But there have been patents, and people have continuously tried to get into the space, and because everybody sees a big market in this. Only few of these could actually fly, and these machines, as covered, they could not the mass production stage because of their economic viability, or else due to poor safety record. All those safety standards were not there that time, and once any particular prototype crashes, then the faith in that system goes for a six. The first one in the series was made by Glenn Curtiss in 1917. He may be regarded as the father of the flying cars. This particular machine was aluminum autoplane. It had 3 wings, and its wingspan was close to 40 feet. As you can see, it has a 4-blade propeller at the rear. This couldn't fly, but Curtiss was able to demonstrate few short hops using this autoplane. The next important machine in this was Aerobile, which was developed by Waldo Waterman in 1937. It was a hybrid Studebaker aircraft. Like the auto plane which I covered, it too had a propeller attached to the rear of the car. Now it had a 100 horsepower Studebaker engine, and the wings could be detached when not in use. So it could be converted to a car for the road. However, this could not get funding because the guys needed at least 500 orders for this to get into mass production. So this never happened. The advanced machine in the same series was Aviation, which was developed by Robert Fulton. This was developed in 1946, and he had a different approach. Instead of adapting a car for flying, Fulton took a aeroplane and he converted it to be a roadworthy vehicle. The wings and tail section of the plane could be removed, and this could be driven on the roads. And the propeller could be stored in the plane's fuselage. And the whole modification took only 5 minutes, so making it a viable option or attractive option to the investors and the public in general. As you can see, the rear part is being removed by a lady in this picture. This was the first flying car to be certified by FAA. It had a 150 horsepower 6-cylinder engine, and speed was pretty good, 120 miles per hour by any standards. Even today's standards, that is a decent enough speed for intra-city travel or for short travels. And the speed on the roads was also 50 miles per hour, which was again good enough. However, even after the successful demonstrations, this could not find any financial backing. Now, this convertible air car, convoy car, was developed by Ted Hall and Tommy Thompson. By this time, the Ford Motor and other giants had started to come into this field. So Ford also tried to use this particular thing. This looks very clumsy. You can see there's a car, and a set of wings has been attached on top of this. So it was basically a normal sedan and converted to a flying car. But surprisingly, this flew, and this could offer 1 hour of flight. The test pilot got very excited. The company got very excited. They started, distributing pamphlets also, showing this as flying auto. However, the plans to market this car ended in the third test flight when the pilot forgot to read the fuel gauge, and he took off without sufficient fuel. So in the third flight, the aircraft crashed. Although the test pilot got saved, but still the faith in the aircraft was gone. So thereafter, they could not gather any, financial backing. Now, this one is the most interesting of all, which interests me, and I've been trying to find out more about this flying saucer. This was around the same time when we read about UFOs being sighted in Area 52 and different parts of Britain and different parts of Canada also. Now, this was first flying car designed for military use.
Excuse me, 1 second, Ji. Like, I think your slides are not changing. Can you just switch to the second slide and back? Because it's still on the first slide.
Okay. Now I am on the 10th slide.
Okay. Now it's working.
Can you see this?
Yes. So we didn't see from the first slide itself. It did not change to any other slide.
Okay, others
so
do
I couldn't
the same
see
thing?
it. So I don't know about others. Could others see the other slides except the first one?
Only first one we could see.
No.
Okay,
Yes, only first one.
Yeah, now
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll show the slides because I've already covered the
yes.
Sure.
text part of it. Can you, if it is not moving, I'm just flashing the slides now, okay? And I'll read the headings because we've already gone through it. Otherwise, I'll waste a lot of time.
Yes.
So this was Curtiss aeroplane, and this was the design. Can you see the design? Curtiss autoplane
Yes, it's
design.
visible right now. It's the 8th slide, no?
Yeah, right. Now next was, which I covered, was aerobile, and this was the aerobile's design. Can everybody see this one? A man with the waterman aircraft. Visible? I'll move on to the next one. Okay, amphibian. Robert Fulton, as I covered, this guy had converted aircraft for roads. Can you see amphibian? This thing, the design of amphibian.
No, the slides are not moving again. It's still on the 8th one.
Okay, I
So
think
can
there's
you just reshare the screen maybe? Now it's back to now it's on the 13th one.
I think I'll do one thing. I'll go
Yes.
in the slide sorter. Slide sorter
Okay.
is still in this mode. You can see, I think.
Okay.
And once I make it to full screen, then things are not visible, right? So you saw this slide, this particular slide you saw, right?
Now it's working. Yes,
Okay.
11th one.
Yeah, so I'll go in the slide sorter only because full screen is getting, I don't know,
Yes,
for some
yes.
reason. Okay, so this was amphibian, Robert Fulton. This was his design, which I covered that if this thing, this particular thing could be removed, detached, and the propellers could be placed in the fuselage. And this model could fly at 120 miles per hour in air and 50 miles per hour on the road. But this could not gather sufficient funding. Okay, the next I covered Kun Air car. If you see, it's a two-door sedan on which a set of wings has been placed, and surprisingly, this could fly, and this gave tremendous results also. So much so that Ford Motors wanted to market it as flying auto in 1946. However, after 66 test flights, once they got to demonstration stage, in the after the second test flight, the pilot saw the fuel gauge and found that as per him, the fuel was sufficient. However, after 1 hour flight, obviously the fuel was insufficient. So the moment he got airborne, shortly after that, this particular aircraft crashed. Thereafter, they tried to make different models, advanced models, but nobody showed any interest in conveyor car. Next interesting flying car which I covered was called Flying Saucer because of the shape. It was a joint venture between Canadian and British military. Later, US Army also joined this thing, and we must have heard stories of UFOs being sighted in Area 52 in some parts of Britain, close to the or at the end of Second World War, around that time. So maybe, although it's not confirmed, but then maybe this was the vehicle, and this vehicle is still kept in US Army museums. If any of you get time to visit, you can see all these interesting vehicles there. Now, the most successful of all these was the Aerocar. This was designed by Moulton Taylor, and this was inspired by Robert Fulton's amphibian, which we covered just some time back. This could drive, thereafter be converted to an aeroplane, fly, and again back to the road, and it could drive like a car. This was covered with the fiberglass shell. A 10 feet long drive shaft connected the engine to a pusher propeller. It cruised at 120 miles per hour. And this was the second and last roadable aircraft to receive FAA certification. In 1972, Ford Motor again tried to market this vehicle, but that decade's oil crisis dashed those plans because people were still fighting to, get a roadable vehicle with lesser fuel consumption. So people didn't show interest. So with this history, this was brief history of the flying cars. This segment of urban air mobility, or if we say vertical takeoff landing vehicles, was always there for taking. In the meanwhile, around 1950s, another machine called helicopters came. Although from the beginning itself, all the scientists and aviation scholars, they said that this machine shouldn't be flying because this is totally unsafe. But still, since there was no vehicle in this segment, helicopters have been carrying out this task even today. And over a period of time, the safety factors increased. Otherwise, the maximum accidents in aviation have taken place in helicopters. They've been used to transport goods as well as people, primarily over short distances. Now with the bigger helicopters, they are taking over for longer distances as well. In India also, air taxi is being Pushpak was there in earlier days. Nowadays, Pawan Hans is using these helicopters in Vaishno Devi. Some private operator is using this thing in Bangalore also for travel from the airport to the city due to the traffic problem there. But the problems of helicopters remain. First, it is very costly. If you see a 15-minute ride in Vaishno Devi, they charge around 5,000 per head. So family of four, 20,000 one way and 40,000 overall. So it's quite costly. Unsafe, as I covered, the maximum accidents in aviation have taken place in this particular machine. And noisy goes without saying. The propellers, the size of the propellers and the closeness to ground, that causes lots of noise, and that's a major cause of concern. Once we are looking at a model which can basically provide solution for a larger population. Now we come to eVTOLs. Now, over a period of time, as I covered, battery storage capacity has increased substantially, giving hope to the engineers that electric aircraft are possible. Some companies like Pipistrel, etc., they already come up with totally electric aircraft, and they are in the certification process. Many aviation startups, in the meanwhile, have started trials and are at different phases of registration. Now the flying car enthusiasts have understood that the most aerodynamic or feasible thing would be eVTOLs, not the flying cars as such. However, there are some companies still working in the flying car segment. I've not covered them, but you can go on the net and find out. There's one called Aeromobile. There's one more in some European nation which flew last year only. They did the trial. So, but still, as covered, these flying cars would need a runway-like area, at least a kilometer long, to take off and land, which is again going to be a problem in the congested cities. So the electrical vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which I covered, may be defined as light commercial aircraft that can take off and land vertically like helicopters and fly forward like airplanes. So this is another feature here. They have realized that they cannot continue like a helicopter in the cruise phase. If they continue that way, then they'll be compromising on the economy part of it. Okay, this change has taken place because of one, enhanced battery storage capacity. Second feature which has come up is called distributed electric propulsion. Lynn is an engineer. She'll be able to explain it much better. I'll cover it in layman's language. Distributed electric propulsion means that instead of having one or two engines that are providing power to your propellers, we have distributed engines. Basically, every propeller has got its own small engine, which in case of electric aircraft or eVTOLs will be a battery. So there'll be individual batteries spread over the wings or whichever lift producing surface, and they will be helping the aircraft to attain, one is redundancy, second is cost effectiveness, and third is better handling. So because of this, the distributed electric propulsion has already it is being used in all the vehicles and making eVTOLs possible. Now, users of eVTOL vehicles, anything and everything that a helicopter can do can be done by this. Obviously, it is, I would say, in if we look at it, it will be an upgraded version of helicopter, upgraded with a lesser cost and more safety. So it can do cargo deliveries. It can carry the special forces, the commandos, across the border very covertly without making noise. It can send critical medical supplies in the war zone where our battle is taking place, our troops are fighting, and suppose there's a need for any critical medical supplies, and that can be undertaken by this particular thing. Search and rescue, you must have seen behind enemy lines and many other such war movies in which our pilots go across, and in case they have taken a hit, they eject over the foreign land. In that case, the search and rescue missions can be launched by this in a quick time. Combat search and rescue is like search and rescue only, but in the combat zone. So both are similar from your perspective. In military parlance, both have got different connotations. I'll not cover that. Now, battle damage assessment is something which is done after enemy has raided your base. Basically, if any enemy aircraft has come over your area and it has dropped bombs, then you need to know how much damage is done. So this particular task is being done by UAVs, which are very predators and such UAVs, which are very, very costly. So maybe these vehicles will make it cost effective. Now, next one is electronic support measure and electronic countermeasure. You may not like to go into the detail. This is totally a military thing. So I'll skip this. Next, we will move on to the peacetime roles, which are more relevant to this audience. Reconnaissance and surveillance, self-explanatory, it can be used along the borders. If you see, the Indian landscape is so varied that physically it is not possible for the soldiers to patrol the entire length and breadth of the country. If I take example of Siachen, then around 9 months a year, it is inhabitable. So in those areas, these vehicles can be used to give us the recce and BRIs. Mapping was a costly affair till date. All the maps which we see were done by Geographical Survey of India, and they used to take Indian aircraft on loan, which were fitted with cameras, and every hour of flight used to cost them around 5 to 10 lakhs. It was a Avro converted Avro, and another one with NRSA was a Dornier, which was again converted in map mode with cameras. It was very costly. The same thing now can be done with the eVTOLs at a lesser price. Now, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. This is one of the major jobs of Indian Air Force during peacetime. Be it floods, be it earthquakes, be it any problem in Yemen or Iraq, or very recently Afghanistan, where our people were stuck. So in case we want to launch aircraft, instead of sending bigger aircraft, we can launch smaller, these eVTOLs, at the exact location where people can board these and come back. So as of now, we our concept of operation is we make a base. Like in Kerala floods, we made Trivandrum the base, and from there we started sending helicopters. So it was basically the relief reaches slightly late, and first half an hour of any calamity is called the golden period, is very critical. In case somebody is saved in that half an hour, then chances of survival are more. So with this kind of setup, and since eVTOLs would be very cheap compared to the helicopters, so I think every state authority, in fact, the district headquarters, would be able to have these, and they would be able to launch the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief missions by themselves. Now, inspection visit to remote posts, it is a military thing. The commanders, if they want to visit a remote post, they have to trek all the way up to that place. Like I had to go from Joshimath to Mana camp. The distance is just about 40 kilometers, but it takes 2 days because it is totally. Kilin, I've actually finished the
Yes.
PPT part of it. I think once they join back, they'll be having some kind of basic idea of it.
Yes.
We'll straight away start with questions if they have
Yes.
any. But I'd also like to interact and know their views. What do they think?
Yes.
Munawar sir, did I take your name right?
Now he's in.
Munawar sir, can you hear me?
Good evening, sir.
What are your views on future of eVTOLs in India?
Yeah, future of we call same challenges what we are facing at present in the aviation scenario in terms of air traffic management, as you said about the environmental issue, noise pollution, the surroundings. Would be more a challenge, like you were giving a best example, like Delhi. And the emergency procedures when in an unarmed aircraft. So that also would be one of the major challenge. In spite of having so much trained staff in the civil aviation industry, the disaster management, what we try to make our airports and the in-flight crew, the way they are geared up, the awareness of the people traveling, like you quoted one as if it goes on to a commercial platform on an Uber and all. So this will be a challenges, hope with certain strategies on a restricted certain options only could be made viable, what I feel my sincere suggestion.
Absolutely.
But yes, a technology challenge more will be onto the air traffic management, like having a dedicated airspace and the height allocation, the flight altitude would be always a concern. Like, it's not a joke, because as you being an we all being an aviators here on this platform, in terms of a technicality, or you as a flying crew, we usually interact all the challenges of this industry. But a very interesting and a long traffic message, and could refresh all those days of my Navy, how we used to handle these helicopters on board ship and all was really challenging. And thanks, a very good knowledge we got on the vertical takeoff. So we have seen those Harriers also.
True, sir.
Short
True.
and all. Of course, in future, it would be as an air taxi system what has started in Bangalore. Yes, it is serviceable, it is available. Infrastructures are coming up with the helipads and other concepts. Hoping so some other further having some interaction and knowledge gaining will certainly help us in not only teaching my students on the coming technology. We used to talk on the drones and the unmanned aircraft and all, as we used to use in services for targeting.
Sorry.
Yeah, Lynn, I think if
thank you,
you can go ahead. That's all right. I forgot to mute.
Opportunity. Really, it was. I was refreshing all those older days by seeing when Sir was talking about all the concepts. It was refreshing all the challenges and the technology of our aviation. Indeed, a very good program organized. Really mind blowing. Thanks for the invitation and opportunity to update my knowledge. Thank you all, the team.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, Lynn. Should we wait for others to
welcome? I think we can wait for 5-10 minutes. They might rejoin because some of them were rejoining a little late.
Yeah, right. So let them rejoin. Otherwise, the presentation part was over. In fact, I was on the last slide only. In case they've got any questions later on, also you got my email ID, you got my WhatsApp. They can connect either ways. And in case possible, in case you're holding any futuristic aviation programs, then I would love to come and teach.
Sure,
Later on,
definitely.
we've discussed those, programs.
Yes.
I get very less time. That is one issue. Obviously, till the time I'm in service, time is limited.
Yes.
Today being a Saturday, I had time. Otherwise, not possible.
Yeah, true.
But once I retire, I'm definitely joining this field. I'm going to become a professor like sir.
Sure. Yeah. Such rich knowledge, we should not keep it with ourselves. Industry
True, sir,
needs.
true.
Industry
And,
needs. We don't know where
yeah.
I tried putting up all this concept and making a syllabus as a BBA aviation
Okay,
to
sir.
have more ground stuff ready rather than coming with a blind knowledge. And it is difficult for the airlines to get them into the aviation terminologies and the platform, where we made a syllabus which was covering onto the customer relationship management, air traffic management, terminal management, space management, air traffic control, and the ramp operations,
Sir.
and the crew rostering, the hub and the network concepts has certainly given a good opportunity for airlines. We are giving them the product with basic knowledge, and it will be easy for them to make them a hardcore professionals.
Correct,
To
sir.
train, it will be, they need not require 6 months training or 3 months training on a short capsule. They grasp it better, what I feel. Even in terms of aviation security, also the biggest threat what we have.
I didn't cover that part. That is also another concern.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure, will be having, with access to a flying machine. You can, if you turn rogue, then you can, can wreak havoc.
Big
with one light machine gun and eVTOL, you can ruin a city actually. So those policies will also need to be there in place. I'm sure that is the major concern in India, and that's why we are not progressing also. Had it been a peaceful country.
In civil aviation, we compare this aviation as an aircraft as a missile. It is as good as carrying up 5-6 tons of fuel. It's as good as a missile, the amount of destruction it carries if it is having certain emergency or an emergency which is not handled, which turns into a major disaster. But here, the drones depends upon the technology, whether a battery operated or a power operated. Then again, the fuel capacity, it all varies, like what concept they are using for the. So safety will always be a big concern, particularly the air traffic management will be a bigger one because we know what is.
Yes, and we need to find some systems which can give automated.
Yeah, it will come. No, technology is there, it will come, but to adhere to that, and it will, the person, those who have been, today we get a lot of flight briefing before the flight, the emergency procedures and all. These all concepts becomes a challenge for them to board a air taxi, even for a shorter duration. And always, now only a person reporting 2 hours before for the flight, they feel it's a big challenge for a travel from Bangalore to Chennai, a flight time of 20 minutes and 2 hours coming again, the flight briefing. So it's in that 20 minutes, what the crew can give the safety brief for before takeoff. Only at the time of taxiing time and the lineup and all, they try to cover. But still, days to go, we can see a lot of expertise coming with various views and ideas. There would be a technology as we are heading towards the machine learning, the artificial intelligence. And up to a set type of travel, people will be really useful. Like ONGs.
As you covered, we need to update the syllabus also. I have seen syllabus of MBA Aviation Management. It is as long as 20 years old. Those books were written in UK in 2001.
But for the Bangalore University, what I have framed for Bangalore University as being a board of study member for Jain University also, which is a deemed university. I have tried to put on even the drone and the unarmed vehicles also as one of the module where in 8-10 hours where I'm able to cover, because still the technology is not clear, the government policy, the safety is the biggest concern.
Okay, sir.
Even the small drones
Absolutely.
also are not so, even the small drones also, they are telling on technology to use for delivery and all, but they don't know the other concept of the aviation safety within the approach areas are very vital points. So we know crew and the bird hits, the challenges we have seen in the industry in our life as a maintenance, the amount of depth and incidents we have seen, we have learned a lot of lessons in that, because it's a big concern for us. Safety is always a bigger, one of the biggest or the most challenging, what we take safety as the top priority in this industry.
Correct, sir. So I think we must thank Lynn for organizing this.
Yes, certainly. Lynn, very thank you for getting us in this platform. We all from the expertise from the people join together and take this aviation, all the professionals to a bigger height in terms of upgrading the technology. At least periodically when we have this, let it be on general, we can have such discussion. Hope Lynn, she's good into all these things. She will, I always follow her. Even I've seen her on the LinkedIn. She takes a lot of efforts, and particular for the women, this thing I've seen her. Thank you, Lenin, for giving this opportunity, and thank you, sir.
You're
Thanks a
My
lot. So
welcome.
thanks a lot for
Most
joining.
welcome. Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining.
Okay, so Lynn, I think we can close it at this now, right? Or
I don't know if anyone else will come in right now. I
okay,
doubt.
chalo, let's. Yeah, obviously, because the
Yes,
presentation was also over, so only the
yes,
part of, if they didn't have any questions, then obviously they must have thought that we should,
yes.
because I was already on the last slide, so
I
that part is
wanted
over.
to,
Question.
okay, I
I
wanted to
think
ask some
would be
things like regarding this battery. So
Okay.
most of the major concern generally is to do with the battery here when we look at it technically, also when we're actually getting down to doing it. So mostly people want to go for a hybrid version because
True.
that would be more feasible than going with complete electric,
As of
because the
now, that is
battery
a big
life
question.
is not
Yeah, that is a
enough.
big question, whether to go for
Yes,
hybrid or to go for a total electric, this thing. So energy density in gasoline or ATF is higher. That is absolutely true. But if we have two kinds of engines, then the weight of the vehicle will go up. That is one issue. Second is the
yes,
maintenance part will be higher, because with more rotating parts you will have more wear and tear. So that
most
is
likely.
yeah.
yes,
So it is going to be a very difficult challenge. So
Everything is rotating there.
yeah. So all these piston engines, etc., they need their maintenance is intensive. And one plus point of the battery operated vehicles is going to be lesser moving parts. So if we want to lose that advantage and go to hybrid, that is a compromise. So, but you never know. Maybe some people will come up because they want ranges also.
The range is
Finally, yeah. If I have a vehicle, I would like to travel from here to Nainital in one go, 200 250
yes,
kilometers. If I have to refuel or I have to recharge at every 100 kilometers, also it is painful. Why would I do that? So maybe in the
yes.
start it can be hybrid, but very soon it will move on to the total electric, and later on maybe hydrogen cells.
Yes, I
Hydrogen
was
cells
just
in,
coming to that. So most of it is going into renewable energy side mostly, and now into hydrogen due to this net
yeah,
zero thing and all. So
true.
hybrid, when I was
If
talking hybrid, I was moreover talking about something maybe like solar or hydrogen mixed with electric or something like that. Like what I mean is like more of a renewable energy mixed with electric or something.
solar energy trials were there, Aurora, you must have heard about Aurora 2 and
Yes,
1 and 2 both.
Yeah.
But the size of the vehicle becomes very, very huge. So that
yes,
is a challenge. It can be good for long hauls, but not for intercity. So that was also thought. In fact, I have got a proper chapter on this thing. See, what is the best, energy source?
yes,
Hydrogen cells have got problems of storage of transportation. So
yes,
as of now, the cost of hydrogen cells is higher. Storage is an issue. It is, highly flammable. So it is termed as dangerous good.
yes,
It cannot be transported by aircraft. So there are limitations in hydrogen fuel cells. But slowly and slowly, as we find, see that the storage has become easier. or this will become another, job. There'll be people offering these services of hydrogen storage, hydrogen transportation. So once that kind of environment is in place, then overall cost will come down. Cost of
Yes.
operation will come down. But as you said, maybe hybrid will be the beginning, then the total electric thing, and then maybe hydrogen fuel cells.
Yes. I had seen a Swiss company which claimed to have the longest running time for the battery. I don't remember the exact name right now, but that was claiming that they had the longest run time, like compared
So
to
I've got
all.
full,
So
I've got full faith in Tesla. If it is going to be anybody, it is going to be Tesla, which will bring the breakthrough.
yeah.
So I've got, and this Tesla has been a reason for it has been a catalyst
Yes.
in this particular field, battery storage capacity.
Yes.
So with this growth in the electrical vehicles, this sector will also grow.
Yes.
As of I think few days back, I saw Mahindra is launching 400 XUV 400, and that is supposed to be I think supposed to run 400 kilometers or something. So that is a decent range for a SUV.
Yes.
So if that can happen, then I think we are on the right path.
But for Mahindra, it would be on road, but on the air, and again we need the diversion also as an alternative option.
True. That's why 30 minutes of reserve they have. That's why EHang's time is just about 27 minutes. The range is 27 minutes. However, I feel they can fly for half an hour. So half an hour is about 50 kilometers plus.
Yeah.
But if we keep that surplus endurance aside, then they are left with very less time. But if finally it all comes down to the capacity of the battery. If it is
Yes.
increasing on roads also, the same batteries are going to be eventually used in the aircraft also. So whole environment will grow together.
But here in NSOP, non-schedule operators, we find flight plan is been given. How would be this pattern of having air taxi services which grown without pilot?
Now there, UK has got 3 phases. In the first phase, they are trying to put drones at around above 100 feet to close to 300 feet. Above that, they want to have the eVTOLs and helicopters, basically the urban air mobility. And above that would be the scheduled fixed wing aircraft. So that is going to be the first phase where they allot corridors. Later on, they will have to have crisscrosses, but that will happen only once we have real time availability of each and every platform on a consolidated platform which can do the deconflicting on its own. Now, deconflicting also is of 2 kinds. One is if I apply for permission, like suppose as of now we have digital sky platform. So if I apply that I want to get airborne from Delhi Connaught Place right now and go to Gurgaon. So it will straight away say that you need to delay your takeoff by 5 minutes so that your route is clear. And once you go up 50 feet in the vertical phase, then you don't have any conflict. Other one can be you get airborne and you can be deconflicted in the real time. So first would be the deconfliction before takeoff wala stage. And second stage would be to get airborne in real time because everybody will be on 5G.
Yes.
Everybody's live position would be there on that position, height, speed, everything. So that software algorithm will do the deconfliction. So that is the end state. Although it will take time, I'm sure next 5 to 10 years we'll see a lot of changes. Because the human air traffic controllers cannot do that, cannot handle. We've seen more than 5 aircraft in air on approach. They start fumbling, and it is natural. Human brain has got limitation.
Yes.
So finally, we'll have to rely on AI, as you said rightly.
Yeah.
Right
AI and
now,
MI will certainly help it.
Yeah, right
And
now
in
we have this from Amadeus as well. Right now, Amadeus as well has such a thing come out. So they have different
Okay.
modules where they automate it real time. So it's not just the old GDS thing. Amadeus is also doing this traffic management as well. The whole network planning optimization, everything like demand side and everything. They have modules for it right now. So
Okay,
if you
have
go
they
see
started
the
putting this in practice?
yes in real time, so it's automated. So supposing you have a note time and a
Okay.
airspace is closed, then it just
Okay.
automatically reroutes at that time. Like so they have just got it out. I don't know, like it's just come out, so I don't know how effective or what's the thing. So I've been
It
reading
has to
about
be
it in research. Yes.
Yeah, it has
So
to
it's
be
on the
certified
website.
first.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if you go
it'll
on the
have to be
website,
certified
thing.
first, and
yeah, you
yeah,
can see
and
it.
then it'll have to be
In
put in the
schedule.
relevant IAPs also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once that is put in the IAPs, and then we can say that it is a certified process. So maybe, but
Yes.
obviously the things are under development at different ATC side, from the manufacturer side, from the lawmaker side. So although the speed, maybe we would have wanted it to be a little faster, but India, as we know, will go at this rate only. So we have to accept the fait accompli, and
But
we
what
at least can
I
be
suggest,
updated.
I suggest what they will come up is they will have a not only the schedule of the flight for every 1 hour from Electronic City to Bangalore City. So the destinations, those routes will be dedicatedly given along with the flight plan or the open this thing.
Okay, sir.
In a scheduled flight, what we do is we take the permission, then ATC, then we get login, then clear takeoff and assigning the course
There'll
and
have to
all.
be one
Then
singular
they can give
platform for
initially a
all.
dedicated line, a
Yeah,
dedicated
correct.
route from the Electronic City to Bangalore airport. There will be no traffic at all. So from here, this type of business can start till the things get and technology get worse. So like a far destination from Mysore, a place like from Mysore, if they want to have from drone and straight away go to the airport for a air taxi, it will save a lot of time, because every customer when he comes at how much time he will say how it will be more feasible for me and more
Absolutely, everybody wants to save time.
reliability. Yeah,
That is the ultimate aim of aviation,
yeah.
to save time. So
Airlines
in
is meant
fact,
for
these small routes means Bangalore to Chennai, Agra to Delhi, Delhi to Jaipur. These routes will be totally taken over by these eVTOLs. As of now,
yeah.
if I have to travel from Bangalore to Chennai, 2 hours before the scheduled thing I start from the home, I need to reach the airport 2 hours before the scheduled takeoff time. So basically 2 hours in travel, 2 hours in check-in security. So 4 hours I've already spent. Thereafter, flight from Bangalore to Chennai is just about 25 minutes.
Yes.
Then checkout time is again 25 to 30 minutes. So I am spending around 5 hours for a 25 minutes flight.
Yeah.
So for the shorter routes, basically within 400, 500 kilometers, people will start taking eVTOLs, because they'll be calling for this eVTOL on top of their roof of buildings, helipad, whichever comes up later, and straight away they'll get airborne from there and reach their ultimate destination. Like if I have to go to Taj Mahal from Delhi, I won't go to the airport and then come to Agra airport, and Agra airport take a taxi and go to Agra Taj Mahal. That is again a 5-6 hours job. If I call for a eVTOL at my rooftop, and from there I come directly, Agra to Delhi is just about 160 kilometers. So with a vehicle at 160 speed, it will just take me an hour. So see, it is 5 hours versus 1 hour. In comfort of just pick up your suitcase, reach the take the elevator and reach the top of your building, and straight away, if there are any vertiports close to the Agra Taj Mahal, they land there straight away. So it is going to revolutionize the way we think, the way we conceptualize aviation or travel. As of now, the most painful part is getting to the airport and getting out of the airport. So these parts will also be taken care of.
I think it's also in trend, right? Like considering everything is going towards, like now we have the regional connectivity scheme. Plus we are looking at more business chartered stuff, or we are looking at logistics side, supply chain and stuff, air transport side. So this really is a good fit for all of these things if we think about it. even the
Yeah,
regional
right.
connectivity scheme. And even if you're a business traveler, you want to reach, you don't want to spend that extra time what you're wasting. You are time sensitive, so you want to really just spend the exact time, the shortest time which you need to get to the meeting in time. Because if you're, the main thing is delays, right, and the disruptions and
Yeah,
everything
correct, correct.
for them, like, so which would be a problem. So yeah, if they have to reach a certain place or meeting at a certain time, it would be preferable them taking such a thing which just gets there in time, so they're not wasting too much of time in transit.
True, true, true.
And
Absolutely.
logistics side also, I feel, yes, it does have a lot of scope. Our government has
Yeah.
not yet gone for authorizing such things or policies on such things. That's the thing why we are waiting, because without the policies we don't get the funding also. So even
As
to,
of
and
now, flying a
yeah.
drone is a problem. Many
Yes,
people around the, when I go out in the city, then there are many guys who are, who are in NCC, and they are drone enthusiasts. They brought their
yes,
drone from Russia, from wherever they've gone,
yes,
worth 2 lakhs, and they're unable to fly it because next to the aerodrome you cannot fly. So on the digital sky platform, this guy will not be allowed to take off. So that kind of
yes,
situation is there. So obviously the market will grow only when there's a certain ease of use. It is
yes.
comfortable for that person. So let's
Another,
see.
yeah, another thing what we see, like when we were at UK, is, they consider there's a lot of community engagement and these community bodies which have a say in such things. Because when you're flying over, like you said, settlements and where people are staying, urban areas, then even the noise comes into the picture, and even they need to manage that thing, like how they want to integrate that without disturbing or disrupting what's already there. Like when you want to have these ports, for example, verti ports, as you said, so like how you have even charging ports, so similarly this would need certain charging ports, right? So how are
Yeah,
they
right.
going to integrate that and put that into these cities areas, city settlement areas where they would need it? Because if it's such a short distance, UK had this discussion basically when we were there, that how are we going to incorporate these things? Because if it's going to fly 20 minutes, we need to have one every 20 minutes, which is going to be in the city. Then you
I've
need to
got a
have the
solution for
entire
that also.
community you have entire
Yeah,
community
yeah.
has to agree,
No,
and
but
come to
that will
a,
be the end
yeah,
result. See,
conclude.
we talk
Yes,
about last mile connectivity. We
yes,
have to see how much public is willing to walk. After the,
yes,
if my house is more than, a kilometer from the place where the eVTOL leaves me, then I will not take the eVTOL. I'll take the taxi still. If I have to
yes,
walk a kilometer, more than a kilometer. So that issue of last mile connectivity is going to be critical.
yes,
So if we can, provide vertiport at each building's rooftop, nothing like it. But if that doesn't
yes,
happen, then maybe in a vote that would also suffice. So if you read
yes,
geograph system in which we divide the whole area in latitudes and longitudes, and each square has got a designated name. Similarly, we'll have to come up with the system in which every square kilometer area has got a vertiport.
yes.
Otherwise, it will not make sense. I don't want to, land somewhere and then again take a auto or taxi. Then whole aim is defeated.
Okay.
So I
Tina
had a
has just
solution for this.
joined. Sorry to interrupt. Tina has just joined back, so we can ask her if she has
Okay.
anything.
Tina, can you hear us?
It's still connecting. Yeah, now she's in. Yeah, hi, Tina. Tina, are we audible? You can unmute. 1 second. Yeah, Tina, are we audible?
Yeah, you're audible to me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we wanted to
Yeah.
ask you if you have any questions or you want to say something.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. Yeah, this the flying cars that I've been listening to, eVTOL, was a very interesting thing to know because I do not have much knowledge into that. But yeah, it was really nice to know that how you can utilize it for the very users, like if you have any chasing some like for the cops. for anything involved with fire, emergencies. And I listened to all of that. It's a very good thing to know that it could come in, very sooner than we expect. And it could, make a very big change to how we see, a lot of things. And it can even be a good thing to, replace when it comes to, the voting campaigns. And I heard that and I found that a very interesting, thing to be noted there, because it will all put in a lot of, it replays a lot of problems when it comes to, how much you have to finance in terms of all these, a big kind of, you can help a lot in those dreams. And I understood, it's a wonderful thing to know that, it has been there as the way it evolved over the years, as a vehicle, as a helicopter to a flying car is a wonderful thing to know. And I was really interested with the topic, and I'm very happy you gave me an invitation to join in. Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Any questions you have? Any particular questions regarding any of those, or anything other than that also? Anything other than that, what was covered?
Thank you, Wing Commander. It's wonderful to hear you today. Since I do not have too much of a knowledge around this, I mean, like for me to know this is there, I knew it, but having to know that, in a very elaborative way about it was a wonderful thing to understand. Yeah, but like when you mentioned, when you where you can use it in during the campaign time, it's a wonderful thing, so, and I'm thinking, why isn't not introduced in a long time? Like, it was such a good thing to have introduced. Why wouldn't have we introduced in a long time, like, in all the cities?
Right. I covered that there's a long certification process. Unless these vehicles are certified airworthy, they cannot get airborne. And thereafter, the second issue is regulatory issues. As of now, we don't allow even drones to fly, freely. It's a difficult. Once the regulatory things come in process, once the infrastructure is there, and most importantly, once these vehicles are certified airworthy. So once all these things happen, then we'll see them. Although all three are moving together. First is that we are sure. I think you were having your dinner. Okay. Yeah. So once we know we know one thing for sure, that the machines have got the capability. That is the start point. If the machines are able, sooner or later they'll be certified. If we can certify helicopters are the most dangerous things flying on the earth. Trust me. If you've flown in any of the hepters, especially in hills close to Siachen, you get scared of your life. Even if you've been flying for last 20 years, it is that dangerous. But if those could be certified, then I'm sure these vehicles will get certification sooner or later. Infrastructure is an issue because we already have, all the places are occupied in India. In cities, you don't have, if we see small vendors, they don't get to stand anywhere. They're 2 feet by 2 feet ka tapari, we call it tapari or whatever. They don't get a place to stand. So you want to make a flying machine land there, it is going to be a challenge, but I'm sure we'll find some way. Maybe rooftops is one option, because rooftops are underutilized as of now.
Yes.
The issue of the strength of the rooftops will come. Obviously, runways have got a number called PCN. So they're certified as per their PCNs. But rooftops don't have any PCN. In fact, the slightest of the earthquake and the whole building comes falling down. So we'll have to see whether those roofs can take that load.
Yes.
So, but in future, maybe the new buildings which are coming up, it can be included as part of the municipal corporation's plan, that they should have a certified heliport, vertiport of or something of that strength which can take on the landing and takeoff operations. So once that comes, slowly and slowly things will start. You'll very soon see. It will start with the emergency operations. Then there'll be the politician and the movie stars who will start flashing these things. and then common people like us, they'll also,
Will
start
also
using
fly.
it. That is the way how new technology is introduced, at least in India. So very
Yes.
soon, the day you see Shah Rukh Khan in a eVTOL, you should be sure that the thing is about to get launched for us also.
There
A
is
few
the
more years,
smart
we'll see.
city concept as well, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm like if Tina's heard about it. And also I've seen this come up somewhere at Dubai or somewhere where they have this like an invisible wall kind of thing, like a wall kind of structure. It was going viral on social media where everything is in close reach because it's constructed itself in a vertical pattern. So it's more like, okay, you can reach anywhere really quick, like whatever your basic needs are, it's all within your reach. That's designed that way. And moreover, Tina, she studied with me at Brunel actually. And
Okay.
she's been in the medical field before. So even medical has good use of this, like use cases. So if you say about like
Yeah,
you
but
want to
all
airlift,
emergency operations,
yes, you want to
ambulances,
airlift
and
someone like an
transplantation,
in
ICU.
fact, the
Yes,
ambulances will be the first things in which this will be used.
yes,
So there, people are willing to take a risk also to save somebody's life. So that will
yes,
be the
Yeah.
first thing where it will be launched. Second one would be the politicians and movie
yes.
stars and rich people flashing it. So that luxury segment comes later. The emergency segment comes first.
I think
So
time
even the
first,
Bangalore
sensitive.
city,
Yes.
the
I think,
Bangalore
and
yes,
city,
sorry.
where
Yeah, tell me.
this thing
Yes.
is showing that we left with 2 minutes.
Yes.
So I think we'll have to end.
oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a very nice
yeah,
discussion.
Yes.
I must thank Lynn and Sir also for your your valuable views. Thanks, Tina.
hats off.
Thank you, all others. And
Yes.
I'm available. Tina's got my email ID, etc. Any other queries, I'm always available. Anywhere, in case students are there who want to be taught. Sir, in case you want to call me to your, to
Anything,
talk to
anytime.
the
I will
students.
call. I
Sure,
will
sure.
call for the motivation talk, so my students get well
Sure, sir.
versed with
Any
the
desired, I'd
aviation
love to talk to the
technology.
younger
When
generation.
a pilot speaks, it's different. As an engineer, I may not be that much.
Sure, sir. Any day, sir. It will log out soon on its own. So thank you so much.
Can you
And I'll
share
be
Yeah,
your
we'll call
email?
on the Zoom call.
You think you can
I'll
share
organize
your
one
email?
webinar.
on
I'll
the chat
invite.
box.
I need my with this
I'll
knowledge.
I'll just share my email also.
Yes, just share your email then, so people can connect with you.
Okay. So these are all contact numbers which are being used by me and mails. So you can get in touch on these. Another 1 minute it shows. I think this time I'll have to call it a day.
Yes,
Because
let's
I had
close.
plans to go out for a party. So it's a Saturday night. So thank you so much for making the day lovely.
Thank you everyone for being a
Thank
part of
you.
it.
Thank
And
you
if you
all.
want to connect, you can connect further through email or numbers.
Sure, sure.
All right.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye.